Everyone, I'm so happy to be here. Everyone can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Good to have faces because I've done some readings where it's just everyone goes away and I'm like literally talking to a little green dot on my laptop. So excited to share with you some poetry from my new collection, We Want Our Bodies Back. And I also read from, as Amanda spoke about, some of my other work that was published on More Black Press. I've been running a press since 1997. I published Saul Williams' first book. I published Asha Bandeli's The Subtle Art of Breathing, Raz Baraka's only collection of book, who's the poet, mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Black Girls Learn Love Hard, and among some others. And so it was a big deal for me for, yes, Amistad and Harper Collins in particular, because I'm the first Black woman poet on Harper Collins since Gwendolyn Brooks. So for me, it was a really, really big deal. A lot of big old shoes to step into. And they've been super supportive. And the work is not any less heavy than my past work. And so I didn't tone it down for Harper Collins or Amistad or anybody. And they were supportive. My editor, Patrick Bass, was a big fan and said, let's just put a bind on it. And so I couldn't ask for a better situation right now. So happy to share with you, really very open to having a conversation at the end. And yeah, greetings and love from a serious front line, which is my city right now. I'm going to open with a poem that I wrote for Ndazaki Shange. And before, if you guys are poetry fans, you know who Ndazaki is. And so she was a mentor of mine. And I had a beautiful opportunity to spend some time with her at something called the Maroon Festival, which was with Ndazaki Shange, Sonia Sanchez, and the Last Poets were being honored at this festival. And I decided to just come in for the weekend. I wasn't there to perform. I wanted to come and just be with them. And I spent the weekend, and me and Ndazaki were sitting at breakfast, and we were just talking about roller coasters and being young. And I said, well, Ndazaki, I used to be a roller coaster girl. And so I wrote this poem for her. And it's about growing up in Detroit a little bit. I used to be a roller coaster girl. 7 times in a row, no vertical in these skinny legs. My lipstick bubblegum pink as my Panther 10 speed. Never kiss. Nappy pigtails, no brand gym shoes, white line yellow short shorts, scratched up legs, pedaling past borders of hummus and baba ganoush, masjids and liquor stores, city chicken, pepperoni bread, and Superman ice cream cones. Yellow black blending with bits of Arabic, Islam, and Catholicism. My daddy was Jesus. My mother was quiet. Jane Kennedy was worshipped by my brother Mark. I don't remember having my own bed before 12. Me and my sister Lisa shared. Sometimes all 3 more girls slept in that queen. You grow up so close, never close enough. I used to be a roller coaster girl, wild child full of flowers and ideas, useless crushes on Polish boys in a school full of white girls, future black swans singing Zeppelin, U2, and Rick Springfield, hoping to be Jesse's girl. I could outrun my brothers and everybody else to that recurring line. I used to be a roller coaster girl till you told me I was moving too fast. Said my rush made your head spin, my laughter hurt your ears, a scream of happiness, a scream of freedom pouring out my armpits, sweating up my neck. You are always the scared one. I kept my eyes open for the entire trip. Right before the drop, I would brace myself and let that force push my head back into that hard iron seat. My arms nearly fell off a few times, so I kept running back to that line when I was done, same way I kept running back to you. I used to be a roller coaster girl. I wasn't scared of mountains or falling. Hell, I looked forward to flying and dropping off this earth and coming back to life every once in a while. I found some peace in being out of control, allowing my blood to race through my veins for 180 seconds. I earned my sometimes nicotine pull. I buy my own damn drinks, and the ocean still calls my name when it feels my toes near its shore. I still love roller coasters. And you grew up to be afraid of all girls who could ride fearlessly like me. So that's it. Thank you.
I like in the introduction how you talk about your body as a young girl too.
Anyway. I haven't read my introduction. Yeah. I could read some of it, you know. I haven't read it. I haven't read it, just on Audible. You heard it, but I haven't read it out loud. So I'll read a little bit of my intro to We Want Our Bodies Back, because people are asking me what the title poem means. And the title poem is for Sandra Bland, and it's definitely focused on women's bodies, brown bodies in police custody, women's bodies, poor bodies in police custody. So that's what the poem is about. But We Want Our Bodies Back has all the meanings. It's very layered. And so, yeah, I'll read some of the introduction because I had never read it. My eyes had been waiting on my body since I was about 9. I had a strong case of a continuous deja vu during my elementary school years. I was so curious as to when I was going to actually experience my past life again. I knew it was waiting on me. I found the sun and small animals magic. I was allowed to be a girl. My body did not grow up too soon. I was late. I was one of the lucky ones. There was a disgusting long-haired man who tried to destroy me early. He did our family's lawn care. One day in our garage, he played Itsy Bitsy Spider up one of my pretty dresses. I wasn't older than 5 or 6, smart enough to know he was wrong, and told my godmother, Vivian James, what happened. I saw him one time after that. I was hoping my daddy had killed him, shot him dead with one of his long brown deer hunting rifles. I wore my hair in 2 bushy ponytails, canvas no-name gym shoes, short shorts with bright colors and white trim. I was naturally athletic and petite, tough with I have tall big brothers and protective daddy confidence. I grew up with scars, 14 stitches across each cheek by the time I was 3 years old, 7 on each side. 1 inch from being blind. She's 1 inch from being blind, the doctors always said. That became my favorite number at 7 years old, 7. How we hold on to these small things our entire lives is still amazing to me. 7 became my protection, the number on my softball jersey in 7th grade. I didn't make the basketball team at my majority white Polish Catholic elementary school. This devastated me. I decided to be a cheerleader just so I could be in the gym. I hate the word hate, but I hate cheerleaders more. I just wanted to see all the basketball games. The white girls played so different than the boys on my block. My crossover was quick and soulful, and I didn't pass the rock in my backyard with the robotic technique these girls use with foreign perfection. My body just moved different. My body was never an issue for me until I realized other people were looking at it. I was always pretty average size, and until high school, my chest was pretty flat. Being an athlete developed a confidence in my body that had nothing to do with what it was shaped like. I was always interested in how fast it could move to catch a ball speeding toward me at shortstop, or how my knees would happily hit the floor to dig up a volleyball to be spiked by one of my taller, stronger teammates. Cinderella is what the upperclassmen on the team called me. I was nobody's animated princess. I was definitely hiding my tiara behind ponytails and unapologetically thick, nerdy Julius Irving style glasses I wore proudly while hitting J's on the high school basketball court. Whoosh. So that's some of it. It goes much deeper than that. It's pages and pages long. So wow, I never read that, Amanda. I did that for you. It's like some of that intro. But yeah, there's a lot of meanings that we want our bodies back in so many ways. And it's really for women. I want to read this poem that I've never really read either. I'm trying to, oh, this is just a cute poem I'll read. Sky Miles. The nice chubby white man says, yes, they do, standing on the corner of the red carpet priority lane at the Delta Airlines gate. The classism of first class, sky priority, and premium status fills me up with jokes consistently when traveling. Another man positions himself in front of me. I am always surrounded by ugly cow leather briefcases and horribly tailored suits. Once in a while, a nice pair of shoes shows up. Black women, they do rock. He's referring to my jacket I forget I am wearing. Oh yes, it's a concert I produced. You should come. You are a beautiful woman, he says, then kisses my hands. Thank you, I say. It's the Sky Miles. So that's just a funny story about this dude in the damn Delta Airlines airport with me. This is after 1986. I'm assuming everybody is at least old enough to remember 1986. I was a youngin', but I wrote this about the NASA space shuttle explosion, and I remember it like it was yesterday because I think I was in 8th grade when it happened, if not a freshman in high school. But I remember it being a junior high experience. but nothing was, we didn't have all these iPhones and things back then, but it was like, it stopped our classroom. Everything went still. And I always thought about the woman astronaut who was on the Challenger. And so it's called After 1986. Snakes inside smokeless cold mornings embodies my 80s body, wondering how many seconds before this decade turns in on itself. I finally lived long enough to write 31 years ago, something happened. I was a freshman at Cody High School. Our entire class went quiet. NASA Space Shuttle Challenger would last a short 73 seconds before turning to fire on live television. The first civilian in space was a woman, Krista McAuliffe. I remembered her curly brown hair fighting against the wind as she walked. A teacher, a two-headed snake of smoke choked our hearts, our breaths suspended in air. The actor seemed sincere, convinced the country there would be more attempts towards space, despite the 7 who died on the job. I would finally bleed like a woman this year. Just a year earlier, I wouldn't be invited to a funeral. One of my childhood crushes died of a 4-letter disease. My body was changing, slow and deliberate. My crossover was quick enough, could catch a fast softball at shortstop. My English was Catholic school proper, never had a pedicure or smoked marijuana, a flirtatious, shy, confident virgin. I didn't know I was pretty. An awkward black girl. Didn't know how to braid hair or curl or straighten it properly with heat, still don't. Snakes inside smokeless cold mornings embodies my 80s body, wondering how many seconds before this decade turns in on itself. Who will become teachers, fearless enough to fly? And when will I finally explode? So thank you. I don't think I've ever read that one out loud. I am asking a question, but do any of you know who Debbie Thomas is, the ice skater?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, just kind of depends. I've asked people, and some people are like, "Who's that?" And then other people are like, "Yeah, Debbie Thomas."
Mm-hmm.
This is a poem I'm trying to read poems that I haven't read. I've been doing a lot of online. So I'm trying to read to the Albuquerque, New Mexico audience, different pieces. I never read this because, people, if they don't know who Debbie Thomas is, it's weird. But Debbie Thomas, who's Olympics, first Black woman Olympic skater, right? And I was a little girl watching her, and I was going crazy, and I loved her. And I did, me and Alicia Hall Moran. Alicia Hall Moran is a very amazing opera singer who's based in New York City. She's the star of Porgy and Bess, and she used to be an ice skater. And she wrote a piece called The Battle of the Carmens, a theater piece that I was commissioned to write a piece for. And my son, who plays hockey, was actually in the piece acting with opera singers. It was a really amazing work. But she brought me back to Debbie Thomas and back to my childhood. And I started doing research, as Alicia Hall Moran had done, and looking at and listening to the commentators while Debbie was skating was absolutely mind-boggling. To even think that it actually happened, that the commentators were allowed to talk about Debbie Thomas the way they did. And so, let me see how long this poem is. I really want to read it. It's kind of long. It's a long ass poem. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna think about reading it. We'll see. We'll maybe do it as a bonus at the end. It's so long.
It has a bunch of different parts, doesn't it?
It's a lot of different parts. That's why I haven't been reading it, because it's like, okay, so you have to buy the book, and then you should read Black Ice Bodies, and then we should talk about it. It's really long. Let me read something that's kind of that. What did I wanted to read something from, I did. So this is my 4th book, Sunlight Through Bullet Holes, and I wanted to read something from it. This book has a lot of my jazz poems. So there's my album Black Tea, The Legend of Jesse James, which Talib Kweli put out in 2015, which is me doing my homage to Gil Scott-Heron, which is a blend of poetry and music, which I do a lot of that. But this poem in particular was written for one of my teachers, Amiri Baraka. And we mentioned Raz Baraka earlier. I published his book, but his father, I was actually closer to Amiri, and he was a big influence in my work, in my work as poet. as a critic and a scholar and an educator. I learned a lot from him. And I was asked to read when he passed away in 2014. And so this is called Damn Right. And losing Amiri was almost like losing my daddy all over again. And everybody who's everybody was at this thing. And Danny Glover and Woody King were kind of like hosting the funeral, the celebration, right, of life for Amiri. And this is called Damn Right. And so just in case looks like a cool, maybe a younger poet's here, it's about that continuum of what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, the work that I do now, and why I can't just write poems for poems' sake. The death of my father at 69 reminds me that every new year is a kiss from God. Or maybe it is simply a reminder that catching bullets in our teeth are not just for comic book superheroes, that literary giants also battle against the monstrous heads of Connie and Bill and survive unscathed. Attention critics from nowhere, you might be forced to wear your spine to work today. Amiri Baraka is busy with a higher calling. Somebody gotta ask, who's gonna be the messengers? Where is Sun Ra? Where are the Holy Ghost, our prophets? Wise, 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 but they call us hip hop or say we slam when we are your students, Baraka, the invisible ones, the spooks that knock down doors. We don't juggle or hopscotch or jump through fire. We write. We know your bright sons had plans for this morning. We know your daughters are reimagining the night. Others began writing our suicide letters for us a long time ago. Ignoring the young cultural revolutionaries, you taught us how to breathe inside the polluted cesspool of segregated libraries. In the name of Baraka, we dance, we teach, we tear down, we build up. We believe in the face of the faithless. We move for those who be still. We fly for those who be still. We move for those who be stiff. We fly for those who be still. We have no choice. He created this fire. Who gonna keep it lit? Scholar with sword, master teacher with miracle as metaphor. Who gonna call the ignorant to their faces on national television? Who gonna make love inside of 8-bar blues? Here comes our hurt, here comes our cities, here comes our people. You don't have to explain our chakras, just breathe. Here comes Baraka. Damn right, here comes injustice. Damn right, here comes protest. Here comes the hat tilt. Here comes the b-boy stance. Here comes freedom. Here comes peace. Who gonna spark the tea? Who gonna plant a poem and grow a life? Who gonna bring the scholars out their ivory tower prisons? Who gonna call a spade a king and out-joke the joker? Who gonna build the low-coup bombs with the world and our bookshelves dying a little more every day? Who gonna teach the children? Who gonna rebel? Who gonna go into our prisons? Where are our redemption songs now? We conjuring the whole truth of language from the scraps of a twisted alphabet, the chitlin backwash taste of bitter, standardized testing, and watered down curriculum. We are the economy of pyramids, the who we bees and the what we did. We what they thought was here. Damn right these words don't fit. Damn right the record skip. When your life is a calling, when the ancestors have prepared you for the politics, how do you pick the red pill or the whitest fence? When our cities are born with the bluest eyes, the darkest tails, and the most beautiful African people who don't know they is Africans. Who's cutting the grass at the killing fields, the dream dealers, the beat creators, the painters, the poets, the movement people, the truth tellers, the lovers, the liars. Oh, bless you, the liars. Whose blues they gonna steal now? Which names they gonna mispronounce? Leave out, set back, pretend not to know. He created this fire. Who gonna keep it lit, huh? Who gonna print the books? Who gonna program the silences? Who gonna own the bookstores? Who gonna burn the house down? Who gonna tell them the revolution is your mirror? He created this fire. Who gonna keep it lit, huh? Baraka Black, Baraka Jazz, Baraka Blues, Baraka Dance, so there were no shoes to drag. Where you from? Detroit, Newark, Harlem, Tuskegee, Berlin, Palestine. Who gonna feel the aqua art? Who gonna be the new? Who gonna recognize the old? Who gonna identify your soul? Spirit don't lie, but the papers do. Who gonna control who recognizes you? Who gonna control who remember you? Me, us, we, damn right. Your stories are that of a lion on the front line of an American schizophrenic jungle, prophet footing and warrior ink blood. They cannot kill us all. They cannot kill us all with their blackface and tragic, twisted imitations of life. We understand Amiri Baraka has outlived your double cross. His books held political prisoner by unestablished, unsophisticated establishments. We hold his words as armor, as a symbol of our fearlessness. We ask his children, his wife Amina, for permission to claim him. We smile his boyish grin, waiting for the low-coup bomb to drop. He teaches us there is jazz playing every time the sun rises, a jackal of words, a blues man with his hat always in place. You you, father of movement and possibility, you, Baraka, black and artistic, handing out pamphlets full of rebellion and resistance. We know your life work is simply an answer to the question, why God, why ancestors, why Malcolm, why Langston, why Jane, why Lucille, why Hakeem, why Askia, why Gil, why Sonia, why Last Poets, why Asha, why Tony, why Saul, why Thomas, why Mike, why Kevin, why Akira, why Ursula Rucker, why Lamar, why Willie Perdomo, why Carl Heckok, why Major, why Lisa Jesse Peterson, why ancestors, why brilliant, why organizer, why fathers, why uncles, why scholars, why essayists, why teacher, why legacy, why black genius, why black genius, why black genius, why Baraka, why God, why in the hell did you have to make me a poet? And God replied, Leroy, somebody had to show them how to do it. So that's Baraka. I'm enjoying reading that poem. Thank you, Felina Romero, for Autumn Snaps. I saw your arm. Thank you. I can hear you through the screen. Yes, thank you. Baba Amiri, yeah. And so what's fun is that We Want Our Bodies Back has also a lot of tribute poems. One for Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, which I'll probably read. And then one for Aretha Franklin is in here. But Sonia Sanchez, who, has been a serious mentor for me, and Gwendolyn Brooks is in the book too. And so Sonia, who is, thank God with us at 85, and she's clear as a bell, and she's doing great, and she's healthy in Philly. And I'm so happy that she's with us, because we really need a Sonia Sanchez right now. And she's been such an incredible part of my life as Amiri was. And it's important that we celebrate people while they're here. And Sonia, I wrote this on her 80th birthday, and it's self-explanatory if you know her work. But she has a little touch of vertigo, and so do I. And my son King, who's also a poet, even though he's in denial, he's a good poet, was born on her birthday on September 9th. And so I wrote this on her 80th birthday. And fun fact about this poem, when I read it for the first time, I'm an adult, and so I write poetry and I read it out of the paper. And even though I do have poems that I can recite from like 1995, I still got it. It's in my head. I can do that forever. But it's for Sonia Sanchez's 80th birthday. So I wrote a new poem. And so they have this big event. It's packed to the hill in Brooklyn, and they have no mic stand. And so I'm like, they want me to hold the mic in this like 5-page, I don't know, could have been 7-page poem. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to hold the mic and do the paper? And so Omari Hardwick, who's a famous actor that you guys probably heard of, is also a poet and a fan of Sonia's. So I knew he was a friend of mine. I knew he was on the way. And it's so funny because he walks in. I said, oh, don't worry about it. I have my mic stand. So Omari Hardwick held the mic for me. He was my fine friend who held the mic stand for me, and he became a mic stand. It was the funniest shit in the whole world. And it was the best part about it was Sonia Sanchez afterwards came up to me and she said, well, Jessica, let Omari know when I go up, he can stay if he wants to hold the mic for me too. And I'm like, oh my God. So this is for Sonia Sanchez. And I just I lifted up Amiri, and I want to lift up Sonia because she's with us, and hopefully will be with us for a long time to come. Vertical Woman for Sonia Sanchez on her 80th birthday. We are all spinning while standing still. All at once, us vertigo women, birthed from the cosmic Afro-futuristic tornado wombs of street corner theater and Paul Robeson baritone, deep guttural Alabama DNA tested for being the temperature of the equator. On the 9th day of September, Sonia Sanchez turned 80, and that is very hot. You have rescued so many of us under a soprano sky, us blue black magical women from the bowels of mainstream beauty. We sisters dreaming just to be loved honestly with the nose and breasts and lips we were born with. To be safe in the house of a friend, our internal wounds salted and licked by exile wolves whose spirit kill women, who read books, who create sanctuary in their home, who find joy in the discovery of their own bodies, like the singing coming off drums. You allow us our own image as necessary mirror, as template, as motto. Everything is not a thin, collapsed American nightmare. You promise this is not a small voice while holding our dreams in your throat. Cocoons turn to butterflies when you speak. You told us there was something left behind, something priceless we could spit out and shine off and share with our daughters, something they could not silence, poems. You have pulled us closer to our ancestors with grace. You made them more accessible. You literary goddess in a den of language thieves, a fortress of love, a ginger tea, a warm miso soup. You break the sky open with your sunsets of peace. Pull haiku from your curls and carry them as children. Say them backwards sometimes just to see if the story ends the same way. There is balance in all things. Shake loose our skin so the mask is no longer necessary. Make it wearable art. Make it glow. Your poems blow as we hear how Train would have played it. Your poems laugh so that we can recognize Malcolm's smile on the page. You challenge us to be human, to become who we say we are as a people. You are a giant among the dwarf ears of misogyny, our feminine genius, our sister Sonia, who is the color of Bahia, Sonia, who is the silver panther, matriarch of Black art, Sonia, the pantheon of poetics, a structured sound of meter mixed with machete, rapid fire brilliance, and soft water resistant kisses. She loves us, and it makes us love us better. Sonia gives us permission to live, allow inside our magic, to not be confined to definition, and taught me to own the space I was in while I was in it. Bits and pieces of us all over the planet become whole when we discover you, one poet at a time. The first time I found you, you saved my life. From the narrow curriculum of my Detroit public high school, you were there sitting on a library shelf with Audre Lorde and Ntozake Shange and Lucille Clifton and Alice Walker and Toni Morrison and Octavia Butler. Confusion and displacement and cultural abandonment was lifted from my 16-year-old body. I had mothers and they spoke in beautiful tongues, quick wit and metaphor. I've been a woman and I know we are bad people when we have fallen into our collective depressions, when artist paranoia is at full steam, when we just need to watch a comedy to boost our immune system. We open your books, we find your heart. When our last lover has been swallowed up by insecurity, when we don't know how we will make it through winter on poems, we call on your hand grenades, we conjure your sanku spells, your eyes closed, going awayness, your hypnotic chant, your exalted whispers, your self-love walk around the stage stance. If she loves you, you already know. You need apple cider vinegar, raw almonds, and coconut water. On the road, then you must find the food that will hydrate your soul so you don't run out of energy. So we can continue to continue. In the spirit of Langston and Maya and Baraka and Ruby, we resistance community, women, educators, mothers, together at our seams, you hold us. It seems surreal to share a conversation with someone who took words and made it global testimony, called on poets from around the world to rap a city called Philly and something called peace in the form of haiku, chalk on the sidewalk piece, protest at the bus stop piece, mural against red brick piece, internal peace, single mothers peace, our brothers for peace, spinning while standing still. You, vertical woman with 12 hands, twin babies, and fire water. Your poems are our secret ammunition when they mispronounce our names on purpose. Our conscience for some women who sell their baby girls for the high. These women, those women who love Malcolm, who understood and understand that language is a weapon and tongues are sharpened swords. In Joburg, I watched you quiet a room in seconds. When the stool is not tall enough, you walk away from the podium. And we see you, this petite lioness, commanding every breath in a space, reminding us we still must fight to be taught our own history, our own writers, in our own schools. Does your house have Sonia Sanchez? Does your house have peace of mind? Does your room spin when Sonia enters? Does everything seem clearer after you have her in your reach? Once you have her in your reach, Sonia, we in Brooklyn, we in Detroit, we in Oakland, we in Albuquerque, we in Philly, we in London, we in South Africa, we spin for you. We flower bed community, safe place for you. We will catch you when you need us to. So, I'm gonna drink some water. So that's for Sonia. Woo, so weird reading poems without people and hearing you. I'm doing it. It's a lot of women here. Is there one guy? I think it's all women. Is it all girls? I feel awfully safe right now. Okay. It's all girls. It's a good thing. I'm going to girls and women to be specific. I think, unless I'm wrong, unless there's a guy named Cecilia or Alexandra, which is absolutely possible. I'm making assumptions. Um, yeah, let me think what I want to do. Aretha Franklin. I can read this little short poem. I want to do all kinds of things. No. Sorry. I don't know what I want to read next. I'll read this. Tango Isa Martin, if you're not familiar with him, is one of my dear friends and one of my favorite poets. I call him the King of California. So he won like a National Book Award or something. Not that that defines you, but he's pretty amazing. He has an amazing collection of poems called After Heaven Is All Goodbyes. If the store doesn't have it, you should absolutely get it. He's a phenom. There's a movie called The Last Black Man of San Francisco. I met the director of that film and saw the film. And that title of that film is Tango, Isa Martin, because if anybody knows Black San Francisco, it is Tango. And so he did a lot of work in the Bay Area in 2018. I have my entire career, but a lot of work there, producing Black on My Rock twice and doing lots of readings with Tango. Got me excited about, I don't do open mics, and I was running around doing open mics with Tango because I enjoy, he's like 7 feet tall and just brilliant with language and just was fun to kick it with. And so he inspired a lot of poems. And this is just called After Heaven Is All Goodbyes, which is his brilliant book you should get. I would drink the coffee if it wasn't hot, burnt tires. If you swallow gentrification, how many days before you shit out a strip mall? Or maybe all these hurricanes are the indigenous burial grounds waking up. My sweet tooth cannot survive the poor people's sugar tax. The janky tour guide, is what I call them, is the tallest piece of sunshine on this entire peninsula. Thank God for Mississippi and after school programs. Still waiting for the Pacific to turn into a deep cup of Black resistance. Page Street, they call it downtown. The beauty is always in the core of the body of the building. How high must the hill be to really get close to the roof of that empire? Wondered the woman disguised as poet. It's okay that he curses, says the 11-year-old magician. He says it really cool and it isn't loud. He simply lands the motherfucker correctly in the sentence. Ashes from last year's fire make an entrance. The scent of burning flesh is sometimes a hot cup of joe. New shoes against a forced blacktop. I'm a language scientist. Y'all keep placing that rock in my hands. I just want one morning without caffeine. Something I can drink to fight this false sunny, ripping through these cold Detroit bones. There is no shelter when the sun is traveling through your veins. What time is it today? Light years. So that's just a little poem I wrote for him. I want to read this one. I'm just going to keep it going. It's a short one. It's called Mother Earth Prayer. Oh, yeah, Tango, thank you. Thank you for being on top of it. This is called Mother Earth Prayer, and I think it's kind of relevant because people are like praying nonstop on Facebook. Like people who I think have never prayed, like started praying through this pandemic. And so it's called Mother Earth Prayer. And I'm doing it during Ramadan, which is I'm probably being very bad to somebody or for someone in the name of somebody. You may want to reconsider only praying to your Father for mankind, God. Considering the vulnerable state of humanity, you may want to call your mama. That's it. That's my little prayer. Poem. Make all my patriarchal brothers mad. I opened the book with a poem about my daddy. My daddy was on my first book, which is here, The Words Don't Fit in My Mouth. I did this book in 1997. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I started a publishing house called More Black Press, and Tony Medina became my editor, and my friend Pierre at the time did the book cover, and that became a tradition of actually really having paintings on covers. Alphabet versus the Ghetto is Marcia Jones's work is on the cover of this, so all of them are paintings. Because I wanted to support the visual artists. And so I say that to say my father has been like, my daddy died in 1994 and I moved to New York in the summer of 95, right after my father passed away. And he has been that, that it's an old saying, the wind beneath my wings, but truly has kept me moving. I believe in ancestor work. My mother's was born in Wolverhampton, England and raised in Canada. And so my dad met her in Canada, but my father's people are from Alabama, Madison, Alabama, which is a small town right inside of Huntsville. And so our people were like people of African descent and Cherokee Indians making babies. So I'm indigenous and African on my daddy's side, and very Southern and very country. And then my family, other half of my family are all English Canadians. So there's that. But my daddy, Tom Moore, was big for me. And so I opened the book with January 3rd, 1994, because if you have not lost a loved one, like a parent yet, I can't even explain. It doesn't really leave you. And I was very, very close to my daddy. And so I live literally up the street from the hospital that I hate, that took his body when he passed away right after the new year, 1994. January 3rd, 1994. And if you actually have the physical book, there's actually on the end, there's a poem inside the poem, but you can't really tell with me reading it. You have to read the book to see that there's a smaller poem inside of it. But I wanted to see my daddy's body. I wanted to see what they had done to him. Not the angels, not God. They didn't take him. I was convinced. He was thin and tall and southern sophisticated, cool miles and southern comfort next to his bed, smile that could capture the attention of women half his age. I laid down in his twin bed the morning he died. I wanted to find the grooves of his body inside the fabric so I could bury myself inside what he left behind. A part of my body would always be dead after this day. I examined the house that was never my house. I searched for clues. I rolled my eyes at the strange man who was walking around. I didn't trust him or his smell or his eyes. I didn't trust the woman who was my daddy's young girlfriend at the time of his death. I didn't trust many women after my daddy's body left Detroit. I wanted to see him. Why can't we see him? Henry Ford Hospital had his body somewhere. I forever hate hospitals. The doctor told my brother Johnny it would be better to just wait until he was prepared for the funeral. We left my daddy's body with these strangers. My brother didn't notice, but I was screaming. No one noticed, but I was flying. I was kicking the doctor in the gut and running down the white doorways to find my daddy's body so I could bring him back home with me. And it's so relevant right now. Oh my God, I'll cry. But just the amount of people that I have lost has been tremendous. If I told you numbers, you would be probably blown away if you're not in my city. But just one of my girlfriends lost an aunt, a grandmother, and her mother within 3 weeks. My best friend Charlotte lost her sister. My other best friend Sabrina lost her dad last night. And the hardest thing for all of them and for me has been the inability to see them. You can't go to the nursing home. You can't go to the hospital. The funeral homes are backed up with bodies. And so that some bodies have been literally just sitting and waiting to be prayed over and buried. So if you're not cremating, then it becomes it's just, so that's what, like, it's become really deep for me, because I remember that feeling of just wanting to take my daddy's body away from these people I didn't know and just literally bury him and do it in the living room. Like, why are we leaving him? And I never understood it. And now I have so much empathy for my friends and my family members who have lost people that way. And there's no resolve in it, because you feel like, well, I want to see him or her last, and I want to hold their hand, and I want to kiss their forehead. And so yeah, that I read from my sister Sabrina. What else? I'm gonna keep moving around until you tell me to stop, Amanda. I'm gonna keep reading poems. And
You want to read the title poem?
I'm sorry?
Are you reading the title poem at all?
Oh, I can, yeah. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:40. God, the time.
Yes. No.
We're good though. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna read. I'll close with "We Want Our Bodies Back" for sure. So okay. That's a mamma jammer. This is kind of interesting. I mean, they're all kind of. I'll read this. Where are the people? So where are the people? I don't know what gentrification might look like in Albuquerque. If you all are there, you'd have to tell me more about it. But in Detroit, it's been pretty rampant, and in places like Harlem and Brooklyn and Chicago, and most major cities have gone through it. But there's a neighborhood that they've renamed, because they rename stuff, and it's called the Cass Corridor. It's in the middle of Wayne State University, where I went to college, and it's literally up the street. And so this is an area that's been heavily gentrified. There's new places to eat, there's Wi-Fi, whatever. It's new and hip and cool. And so this is called Where Are the People? Because a lot of elderly people and students lived in this neighborhood, and a lot of folks were kicked out. And then this was a place where kind of like people on heroin are mentally ill, you would find them kind of just like hanging out on the street. And there was a moment, me and my son went to get pizza at a kind of a new pizza spot. They gave us a pepperoni pizza. We don't eat pepperoni. So long story short, we're literally driving up down Cass, trying to find someone to give a free pizza to, and couldn't find anyone. And so I came home and I wrote, at some point, wrote this poem, Where Are the People? For the bodies we can no longer locate. Where are the one-way tickets? Who signed the death certificates? Where are the magicians, the madmen, the toothless, the smoothless, the poets, the corner store prophets, the bus stop historians, the traffic stoppers? Where are the people? Where are the blues? Under which pile of gravel? Where are they buried? Hurricane cast corridor. Where is the soil, the socks, the soles, the shoes? Where is the heroin? Where are the pills? Where are the women? Where are the thrills? Where is cast corridor? My student asked, is it a building? Is it this way? Is it that way? Your school is sitting in it. I answer you, is it? The dogs are walking the people. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs have parks. The parks don't have children. Where are the people? The stepped over, the forgotten Holocaust, the fragile, the beautiful, the fast talkers, the backward walkers, the 3 a.m. stalkers. Where did they take them? When will they return? Where is the balance? Where is the money? Where are the people? We all got Wi-Fi. Nobody getting high outside. Where are their heads? Where are the beds? Where are the recognizable street signs? Where is Joe Louis? Where are the Black people? My white neighbor asked me, Jessica, where are the Black people? Where are the chosen people? Our hearts, our guitars, our bass players, Kenny Mack, Anthony Tolson, rest in peace. Where are the anointed, the children of God? Where is the sage, the holy water? Where is the Black imagination located? How much does it cost per square foot to rent there? Is there a rent to own your Black imagination option? Where are the couples fighting in the alleys? Where are the purple flavor Mad Dog 2020 labels? Where are the needles? Where is the good time? Where did all these goddamn bike lanes come from? Where is the line to simply exist? Where is the painted line to live, to breathe? Where are the parks with swings? Where are the children supposed to live? Where are the children supposed to run? Where are the twilight teasers, the moonlight mythology makers? Where are our military vets? Where are the mentally ill? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? San Francisco, Oakland, Harlem, Detroit, Chicago. Do you know? Do you know, huh? Have you seen them? Do they all die so New Detroit could live? Did they all die so New Chicago could live? Did they all die so New Brooklyn could live? Where is your conscience? Where is this nonsense coming from? Where is humanity? Where are the people? The one-way tickets? The message is still in the bottle. Where are the indigenous? Where are the salt mines? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? When you find them, please tell them, I have an overpriced, gentrified cheese and pork pizza with their names on it. Tell them I'm writing for them, so they won't disappear without a fight. Whew, okay, so I'm gonna, I think, close with We Want Our Bodies Back is a pretty lengthy piece too. And this is definitely written, it's almost a prayer and a rant all into one. And my book is separated by Nina Simone songs. So, and all the Nina Simone songs appear in this poem, We Want Our Bodies Back. And so, if you know Nina, Wild as the Wind, I Put a Spell on You, I Got Life, and Black is the Color My True Love's Hair. And so, I don't know, people ask me why Nina, because Nina, people like Nina Simone and Billie Holiday, Phyllis Hyman, Etta James, those women, for me as an artist, they're muses for me, and they keep me sane. So I'm always looking for like those when you feel like you're, as an artist too, there's lots of paranoia, and I'm deeply rooted into politics and people, and it matters to me and what the poem does, and what I don't say yes to everybody. I don't read poems for everybody just because I'm getting a check. Like I'm not motivated by money, although I need some. It's not my motivation. And so Nina Simone is just one of those revolutionary, radical Black women, during the civil rights movement, who made choices that made her life uneasy at the end. And I'm probably one of those women in some regard. And those kind of women keep me excited. And so, but I'm thinking about Sandra Bland dying, and then I'm thinking about Nina Simone music at the same time. And that's kind of what this poem is. If Black women could be cut down, no, removed gently from American terrorism, who would break our fall? Which direction would we travel to feel safe? Wild is the wind. If we could turn in this skin, these sharpened bones, this brain full of power and history, who would we resemble? Invisible doesn't come in Black. How many nervous breakdowns? How many funeral black dresses? How many fibroids? How many nooses? How many of our bodies must be raped, cut into pieces, burned inside garbage bags, buried? How many of us blossom a beautiful tree of life and pray their pride isn't cut down the middle, reduced to trunks, or a close friend doesn't die climbing their limbs, attempting to simply grow outside the gritty soil they were planted? I put a spell on you. Holly hobby ovens, Girl Scout cookies, and Barbie dolls. Don't prepare our revolutionary daughters born with capes and wings to have a pig's knee pushed into their backs. Girls raised by wolves, taught to disappear, to be quiet, to not talk about it. How much Black breath is allowed space in the state of Texas? A place that has sucked the life out of countless, miscounted, uncounted brown, poor women die here. I got life. Sandra Bland got the death penalty for a traffic stop. Her body was 28 years young. How to make sense of our bodies? Bodies burnt by cigarettes. Bodies smoked out of their own neighborhoods. Bodies with abandoned lungs and hearts. Bodies mistaken for women when they are still girls. How do we construct a survival guide, a poem for our daughters' bodies without throwing up our breakfast? How do our mothers' bodies not implode after telling our sons to comply, to not speak, to keep their heads down, to allow their bodies to be dragged by racist police? Jim Crow ain't never flown with this much wingspan. Eagles running for safety now, for the reach is deep in southern and Midwest, shadows the east, lands in the west. Texas, you will always be Mexico in denial. Poet Ron Allen asked for his body back in 1996, and we are still waiting. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want the return to mothers without blood, without brains exposed, without humiliation, without bruises, without glass, without fire. We want our bodies back. We want our cities back. We want our culture back. We want our land back, our streets back, our freedom, our justice. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them wrapped in white silk. We want them paraded around the White House. We want them paraded around the White House. We want those flags you stand up for at baseball games at half-mast. We want national holidays to honor our bodies, our knees, our prayers, our ears, our genitals, our eyes, our fingers, our feet. We want 21 gun salutes when we enter a damn room. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them anointed in oils. We want them worn around your neck. We want them remembered. We want them worshiped on Sunday. We want our magic you try to bottle. We want our essence you attempt to steal. We want our elegance, our sex, our walk, our cool, our recipes, our intelligence, our science, our stars, our history. I want my Moroccan nose. I want my holy water breasts. I want my Messiah legs. I want my alien arms. I want my Ivory Coast mouth. I want our breath back. I want our time back. I want your foot off our girls' backs. I want your badges back. I want you to evaporate into dust like swatted moths. Don't cut me down from the noose. Let my legs dangle for the devil. What a spectacular magic show. Why you turn the cameras off? Why you turn the cameras off? This is a simple ballet. You got front row. This is your venue. This cell, this hole is no one's home. Is no place for a woman to die. You probably never heard of Judith Jameson, Catherine Dunham. Oh, we know how to get our legs in the air. We know how to elevate, use our bodies to tell a story of middle passage, of survivals, of lynchings. You have always loved our bodies under your control. Don't you touch me. Don't take me down. Don't touch my music. Don't touch my body. Don't touch my patience. Don't touch my car door. Don't come near my window. Don't talk to me in that tone. This body of work got work to do. I'm resurrecting my body in new forms daily. Watch for me in your deepest sleep. Black is the color of my true love's hair. Listen for my songs. Watch for my walk. Listen for my voice, my Black girl attitude. Watch my body resist your death threats. Watch me rise. Watch my rebirth. Watch us rise up from this new Jim Crow, from these new unspoken apartheid laws. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We would take them, protect them, remember them, remember you, Sandra Bland. We will never forget your brown body, your mind, your pride, your spirit, your love, your vows to do God's work. We want your drive from Illinois to Waller County back. We want all our daughters back, and we want them back now. Woo! That's all the poems I have for the evening. Oh my goodness.